All right, everyone. Okay, bonjour. Welcome to our tutorial on Mesodermic. Mesodermic is our new genealogy system. So I'm going to walk through from beginning to end how you access it, how you get yourself registered, how you use it. I would like to introduce also that we have on the call with us one of our programmers, Nathan Hawkins, who helped to build the program. So I will go through and just sort of give you the basics, and then Paige will start reading off some of your questions in the Q&A. And it may be a question for me, it may be a question for Nathan, and we'll just work through all of the issues, all of the exciting opportunities that this program is going to allow you to make use of searching out your family history. So I am first going to share my screen. Okay, so the page that you see up is our Heritage Center website, PotawatomiHeritage.com. So if you come to our main homepage to access Mesodermic, you go over here to resources, where you will see all of the resources that we have made available since we launched this new website back in November, just before Thanksgiving. Mesodermic is down here at the bottom. If you click on that, it will take you over to actually, if you click on it and you don't already have a profile, let me tell you that. You'll click on this and it will pull up a page. It'll be a black page. And on that, you will see not only Mesodermic, but also where you can apply for scholarships. If you applied for CARES money earlier, a few months ago, those are all done through this same portal. So if you have ever accessed the portal, if you've ever applied for housing assistance, if you've applied for a scholarship, if you applied for CARES money, you already have a profile. It is the same system, so you will not need to create a new profile for this. You'll use your same login and all of that information. But you'll have a black screen that pulls up, and in the bottom, you'll see one that has a leaf on it, and in the title Mesodermic, and mentions that it's for genealogy. You'll click on that. It'll take you through a few prompts. It'll ask you a few questions, because this system is only available to tribal members and spouses of tribal members. And the way we link your profile to your actual family tree is by using your tribal ID number. So you will be able to, if you're the spouse, you'll be able to say, I am basically doing this on behalf of a tribal citizen, and enter their tribal ID number. So you'll click on Mesodermic here, and it'll take you over to the home page of our new genealogy system. This is what your home dashboard will look like. You'll see a little picture of yourself up here. This is a fake profile of a woman, tribal member who's named Mesodermic A Demo. This is her homepage. So you'll see your profile picture and your vital statistics right here. You'll see the little welcome that explains what Mesodermic is. Mesodermic means family. It's the word for Potawatomi word for family. You'll see down here in the bottom a little featured person of the month. This happens to be John Anderson this month. And then you'll see our browse by census. So this is what everyone's homepage will look like. It will just be personalized to your photo and your vital statistics. So Mesodermic came about because, one, we have a lot of people who want to do genealogy research, but we have seen an uptick in people who want to do genealogy research, and what they are used to is going on other websites like Ancestry.com and a few others, and they are used to the way that is set up. So we wanted to build something that had a feel that was very similar to that, so that you're not trying to learn a whole new system that isn't very intuitive. So we tried to take the best parts of that and build from there for our system. We also know that a lot of people are very familiar with and comfortable with using social media. And we understand that people who are doing genealogy, they don't want to just know about their ancestors who have walked on, who lived decades ago, maybe even a century or more ago. They also want to know about their family member who are living today, who may live, maybe they have a fourth or a fifth cousin that they would like to get to know. So we also added a social media element of this. So I am first going to go through that portion of it where you build out your own profile and how you connect and link with other Mesodermic users. And then we will go into the pure genealogy research where you can just sort of browse and learn more about not only specific tribal members, but the nation as a whole. So what you can first do is go over here to the My Profile, and we click this, and it will take you to Mesodermic A Demo's full profile. So here, if you have a picture that'll pull up, it will initially pull up the photo that we have on file for you with tribal roles. If you don't like that photo, you can go up here to the edit and you can change the photo out for one that you prefer. I can tell you my tribal ID photo, I took it at festival. It was probably 10 years ago. It was hot. My face was sweaty and my hair was stuck to my forehead. I looked a little bit like I'd just run a marathon. It's not the most flattering photo. So I have changed my photo. Here you will see gender. You are able to identify and select your own gender. If you have received your Potawatomi name, you're able to put that here. This Potawatomi name is Hot Dog because Nathan has a sense of humor. If you know your clan, you have the ability to add your clan in here. Her clan is Wolf Clan. You have your birth and vital statistics, and you're able to add these things by clicking on that little pen up at the top and adding in your information. As you can see here, you could put where you were born, you could put your birth date, any of your own vital statistics. You can also go down here and add events and build your life story. That's what we're calling it. So Mesodermic A Demo was born in 1985. She received her bachelor's degree at a very young age in 2001. We also put here that you see graduation 2001, and she retired a brief 20 years later, a few weeks ago at also a very young age. Lucky Mesodermic. She was able to retire. You can also, life story events are ones with a very specific date. So if you're able to have a day and a year, that will fall into your life story flow. And you add a life story by clicking on this little button right here. A drop down menu will drop down and you can see all of the kinds of events that you can add to that. You can go in and then add the event details where you can put a description. So if you graduated and you want to put the degree with which you graduated and university you attended, you can go ahead and put those details in here. You can also do facts. So if something doesn't have a specific date, if it's maybe like time range, if you're trying to add an event that happened in your youth, but it didn't happen on a certain day, you can add it in here and it will fall under facts. So again, the difference between a life story event and a fact is one has a specific date attached to it. Up here under family name, Mesodermic A Demo is a member of the Weld and the Tupin families. If she has an alias, they will be listed here. We use the term alias, and I know that may seem a little nefarious. You know, aliases are maybe names that people make up because they have a reason to not want to use their real name. But what we mean by alias is if Mesodermic A Demo is her married name, she could have her maiden name as an alias. If you have gone by a nickname for most of your life, you could have that as an alias. If you were adopted, you could have, so any other names that you want to add that you might be known by can be added here under the aliases. You also get to build out your family tree. So this includes, you can add your spouse, your parents will populate, your siblings will populate, you can add your children. And then we also have, this is very specific. This is something that you're not going to see with Ancestry.com or a lot of these other genealogy websites that only deal with, quite frankly, non-native Western concepts of family. We know that in Native communities, it may be that people you consider a close family member may not be linked to you by blood, or they may be linked to you by blood, but they fulfill a different role in your life. So we have down here the kinship option. These are for people, maybe you have an auntie who's very, very special to you, and you want people that you share your profile with to know that this person has a role in your life, but they may not be blood related. You can go under kinship and it's a free form so that you can type in what that relationship is to you. You can add a photo of that person. They will not show up on your family tree showing blood descendancy, but they will show up on your profile here to show that they have a kinship relationship to you, and you are defining what that relationship is. So that includes, like I mentioned, aunties. Maybe it's a blood aunt who actually ended up raising you and you see her as your mother or a surrogate mother. Maybe it's an adopted child, because again, blood descendancy, because we are a sovereign tribal nation and our citizenship is based on blood descendancy. Adopted children aren't tribal citizens, but we want you to be able to show them as part of your family. So that's where you can have under kinship, you can just list as a son or a daughter. If you choose to put adopted son or daughter, that's up to you. You can list how you see that person in your life. So you'll be able to add that here. I will go down and look at, so I'm going to show you Mesodermic's demo's, her family tree. We haven't built hers out very extensively just because she's a demo account and we just haven't, but I'll show you what happened when you click on your family tree down here. So we only added one relative for Mesodermic. You see her here and you see her mother above her. Here in a moment, we will show you an actual family tree that's built out multiple generations. So if we had above Mesodermic a demo's mother, we would have her grandmother or grandfather, and then her great-grandparent, great-great-grandparent, all the way back as far as we had. Same thing with children. If she had built out her profile with her children, they would show below her. So we will go back to the dashboard. And so that's Mesodermic's profile. Now what you can do with your profile, let's go back to her profile real quick, is also once you've built out your profile, say you want to share your profile with a cousin you haven't seen in a while, and you know that the cousin has also gone on to Mesodermic and built out theirs. You can go up here and hover over your picture in the corner and you'll see this little friends option. You click on friends and your friends list will pop up. Now, Mesodermic, a demo, is right now is friends with me. If you want to become friends with someone else who has a profile, and what you can do is click send friend request here. You'll click that button. You're able to add their email address, save, and it will send a request for them that they can then accept, and you are now linked up as friends. If someone has sent a friend request to you, you can go over here to this little request blurb. Right now, Mesodermic does not have any pending friend requests. So, but if she did, they would be listed there. So we'll go in, Mesodermic and I are friends. So we'll go in and we're going to view my profile. So here's my profile with my not looking like I about to have a heat exhaustion profile photo with my gender, my Potawatomi name, my birth date. I've gone in and added a few life stories. When I was born, my graduation from high school, my graduation from undergrad at OSU, when I took over this position as director of the Heritage Center in 2010, and then when I completed my PhD in 2013. I haven't added any facts yet. I haven't gotten there. I am a member of the Weld and OG family. My ancestors who are linking me to the Weld side is my great-grandfather, who I'm named after, Oliver Kelly Weld, and his mother, Mary Margaret Smith, whose maiden name was OG. So Mary Margaret Smith, me OG. Of course, so that means my link to the OG family is through Mary Margaret Smith. Actually, Mary Margaret, excuse me, is Oliver's grandmother, not mother. I don't have any aliases. I am not married. I have a living mother. I haven't updated this yet. And I have a sister. I don't have kids. I haven't added any kinship yet. Just haven't gotten around to it. But we can get down to view my family tree. And I'm down here at the bottom. There's little old me and my mom and my grandma and Oliver Kellyweld, my great grandfather, who I'm named after, and his father, and then Mary Margaret Smith. So Mesodermic would be able to see that information about me because I chose to share it with her. Only people that you choose to share your information with will be able to see your information because you are a living tribal member. This is a privacy question. So we, the Heritage Center, are going to post the profile, the profiles and the family trees and the allotment information and all of those things, and we're about to look into that, for tribal members who have been dead or walked on 25 years ago or longer. If you are a living tribal member or you have recently passed away, we will not publish your information, and that's just because it's a privacy question. You can share it, you can build out your profile and share it, but we won't do it for you. Once you pass away, and once the anniversary hits of your 25 years after you've passed away, we have it coded so that your information that is on file will then be made to where other tribal citizens can search your information. But it won't be done until then, and it will never be things like your social security number and all that. It's just the information that you're going to be able to see here on Mesodermic. So again, that is a privacy question, and so no need to worry about that. It's only available to who you choose to share it with and who you choose to link up with as in your friend network. Okay, so back to the homepage. That's the social side of it. That's the sort of social media bend to this, where people can network and they can build out their own information and search their own information. We will now go down here to this browse person, so I can sort of show you what some of the ancestral profiles are going to look like, because they're a little bit more fleshed out than our more recent tribal members. So our featured person for this month is John Anderson. We have a little blurb about John Anderson's life and his birth date and death date, and you can click down here and you can go to John Anderson's profile. As you can see, we have his gender, where he was born, when he died. We have his birth date. We have the birth dates of his many, many children. A little facts about him: that he was successful. You know, that he had a great lineage after he passed away. He is well remembered. A little bit about his occupations. If you go over here, you can see that his spouse, Elizabeth Anderson. We have his parents' name. We don't have images loaded for them. We have that he has siblings. Don't have images loaded for them. And then his 9 children. We have images for some, but not for all. And we don't have any kinship relationships listed for him. Because John Anderson had allotments, we have those listed down below. I won't click on these because it takes us out of this system into another program that we have available, our allotment map. But if you click on these, as you can see, when I hover over them, they turn red in our live links. It will take you to our interactive allotment map and show you where in the reservation his allotments were. And it's a really great tool that is available from our homepage. The same place where we went to the drop down for Mesodermic, you can click allotment and see that allotment map. But these links will take you to that system. We also obviously have it here that he was part of the Anderson family. And under alias, the reason you see that this information here is that this is one of the ways that he is listed in a federal document, is that in the 1872 census, he was listed as John Anderson -CT12 because he was the 12th person on that citizen Potawatomi census. So we just listed that here because people may stumble across it. And the reason we do this is that our ancestors, like many people in the 19th century, had a tendency to name everyone in the family with the same name. So it may not be the case for the Andersons, but there are those families where there will be 5 or 6 Johns, 5 or 6 Margarets, 5 or 6 Charleses, and we want to be able for people to understand that if they ever come across a John Anderson who is CT12, that's this John Anderson. So We did that just because it gets very confusing. Our ancestors did not love changing up the names. They really held true to that whole concept of the family name. Now, if John Anderson was your family member, your ancestor, and say you had a piece of information or a document that maybe said he didn't die March 12th, 1911, he died March 14th, 1911. What you could do is go up here to this suggest a change, click it, and it will pop up this little option here, and you type in whatever you want. And what this is going to do is allow you to start a conversation, an email chat with our archives and research staff. So what we are saying is the information that we have gleaned from this is from the documents that we have on hand, but sometimes family members have gone above and beyond and done genealogy research. Maybe they've gone back to courthouses back in Kansas or courthouses back in Iowa, and they've searched through and they may have documentation that contradicts our information. What we want is for you to stay in dialogue with us so that we can get all of the documents and information that we can and make the best information available to our tribal citizens. Okay, so this is John Anderson. As I just mentioned, we're going to go down here and view John Anderson's family tree. He has a much more elaborate family tree than Mesodermic, a demo had. So here's John Anderson down here. Now we don't have his descendants listed, and that's just, there's not a reason for that yet. It's just because he's our demo person, we haven't gotten to that yet. We have John Anderson's parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparent. Now we don't have, obviously, photos for all of these individuals. Many of these people are actually living before cameras. For some people back in, you know, the more historic period, we may have sketches, especially if they were part of the Trail of Death and they happen to have been sketched by George Winter. We will add that in here. So where there's imagery, we will add it. But the farther back you go, it's harder and harder for us to get access to those images. So that is something that is, we're always searching. We need to think of this as a living system. So what you see now, as we get more information and as we transfer other information that we already have in our archives, we just haven't input it into this system yet. This will continue to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So what you see available now is not the end. It is not everything we have. We are all, every day, every work day, we are adding more and more, and we're fine tuning and refining and catching little glitches and fixing little issues. So if you ever come across issues like that, please let us know. And how you let us know, on almost every single page you see down here at the bottom, you see this little wiggly bug. That is what you click on if you ever see something that is technical. So if it looks like there's something that's going on with the website, click down here on this little bug and it will send an email directly to our web developers, Nathan, who will pop on the screen here in a moment when we do Q&A. That's where this little, that's where you are able to address any issues. So if you have questions about information and the accuracy of information, you'll do the suggest a change. If you think something's broken, you click this little bug down here and it gets with our web developers. Okay, so we're going to go back to the dashboard. Something I just remembered that I forgot to tell you about the friend networking feature. Let me go back to that. So remember how I told you that Mesodermic and I are friends. Same thing that you have down here. You have the little bug that does a little wiggle dance for you. That's it, to email Nathan and our other web team about the issues. But if you click right here, this little chat bubble with a little plus sign, you click on that, you'll see Mesodermic's friends list. And I'm her only friend right now, so you can click on me. And as you can see right there, it has me listed at the top and Mesodermic. Send me a message and we can have a chat back and forth. As you can see, I've done this demo a few times, so Mesodermic and I keep having the same conversation of Bojo. But this is a way for you to, if you're meeting with a friend for the first time, if you're meeting a family member for the first time, you could chat back and forth, get to know each other. You can say, hey, you know, I came across our mutual great-great-grandfather and grandmother, a story about them in a newspaper back in Kansas, or, you know, whatever information you have. This is free for you to chat about whatever you want. I can tell you this actually did happen to me last week. I was working with the Potawatomi Leadership Program students who are all doing the program virtually this year. And I was having to do this demo for them to show them how it works. And I stumbled across, I was using the students were given to me alphabetically by first name. And I noticed the first student was Alden. So I was checking through his profile to make sure that everything was working before I was doing a demo. And it turns out that Alden and I, Mary Margaret Smith, is both of our grandmothers. So my great-great-grandfather Hiram and his great-great-grandmother were brother and sister. So that was one of those weird, I was just using him as an example, and there you go. There's a perfect example of how this network can actually connect you with people that you wouldn't know they were your family member. So there's that chat feature that I forgot to mention. Okay, going back to the dashboard. We've done the chat feature, we've done the profile feature, we've looked at John Anderson. Now, another way, if you're just wanting to peruse and learn more about our ancestors who have walked on, a little bit more about the tribe as a unit, you can also search by census. Now, why are we listing out and concerned with the various censuses? Our nation, the foundation of who we are as a sovereign nation, was based around those families who signed the Treaty of 1861. So that first census the census actually happened in 1863, but from the Treaty of 1861. That was the foundation of who people basically putting on paper with the government, I am a member of this nation. I am a citizen of this tribe. And so our oldest census, if you will, it's also called the Kansas Kin, sometimes you'll hear it called that, was in 1863. We are working on the 1863 census right now. It is a tough document to work with. It's not as well developed as some of the later censuses. So that one is coming. Our oldest census is the 1872 census, which you can see right here. When I click on it, you'll see those. It starts with the Andersons, and then the 1887 census, which was the one that we did for the Dawes Act, and then the 1937 census, which happened as the Indian Reorganization Act took place. The Citizen Potawatomi Nation was creating our first constitution, and it was mandated by the government that we do a new census. So we have the people who were registered as tribal citizens in these three censuses. We have it broken down by that. Now there's a lot of redundancy between the 1872 and the 1887 census because they were only done a few years apart. So, but there were a few people who had been born since 1872 who made it onto 1887, and there had been several who had walked on and passed away, and they were taken off of the 1887 census. But that's the foundation of this system, is going back to those family members. As I mentioned, we are almost finished with the 1863, so it's not published on here, but on the back end, that information is almost complete. So what you can do here is either click the specific census that you want to search, or you can click all. And let's just say I want to look for John Anderson. I can type today. So we'll click right here on John Charles Anderson. And it will take me to his same profile that we looked at earlier, but that's just another way to search. And it's being slow. There it is. Yep, there we go. It's just taking a second. His profile is very big, and it does take a second to load, but there he is. So again, if you want to search for people who you know, so for example, if you, on your little card that they give you at festival, when you register for festival, often it will say who your family member is, and it'll often say there's the census. You can actually search by that person's name and see which of the censuses they pull up on. So this will continue to grow with the 1863 Kansas Kin census. But other than that, that's about the extent of what we're going to be doing in this little section. So I am a little over halfway through my time, and I know there's probably a lot of questions. So I will close my mouth and let Paige pose some of your questions for us.
We have some great questions so far. Rosalind is asking if one has a lot of information on a family relative who has died more than 25 years ago, are people able to add that to that profile?
Yes. Okay, I don't think I went to that. So if you go to John, Andrew will explain how you do that. So what you'll want to do on someone who's died, that's the suggest a change right here. And because what's going to happen, so if you have photos of that person, if you have military records for that person, if you have any of that, you'll go to the suggest a change right here. So you can think of it as not so much suggest a change, but offer an addition. It's going to be the same process. It's going to put you in touch with our archival staff, and that they will then at that point begin a one-on-one conversation with you. They'll talk to you about if you want to either mail it in and have us scan it and add it. If you're comfortable with that, they're fine doing that. If you have a scanner and you're comfortable doing it on your own and you don't want to have those documents leave your possession, they'll tell you, how high of a standard it needs to be scanned at, how you need to get that information over to us, and then we'll upload it. This is the difference between our system and something like Ancestry. Is with Ancestry, if you have a family story that you're related to George Washington, you can build out a profile on Ancestry showing and claiming that you are related to George Washington. There's no one there really on the background who's making sure that that information is accurate. What we are having to do with this, because this is truly how people are searching out and understanding their family lineage, is that we need to have the vetting process of making sure that people aren't just uploading anything. We do know that often it is you, the tribal member, who is the expert on your ancestor and not us. But we also know, we ran into this with my family. My grandmother was the hardcore genealogist in the family. My mom's sister was injured one summer, and to occupy her time, started clicking around on these websites and brought my grandma just pages and pages and pages of information that she thought she was finding the right things. And my grandmother would just sort of sorting through and going, no, that's the wrong person, that's the wrong name, that's the wrong person, and you could just sort of see my aunt deflating because she had the best of intentions. She just hadn't been doing the genealogy long enough to understand when she'd sort of gone down a rabbit hole and gone off the proper path. So we do work, we have a tribal employee who's also a tribal member, Zarina Thompson, she is our family history specialist. She's been doing this for 16 years. We actually built this system to track all of Zarina's mass wealth of family knowledge and history, so that when she, God forbid, chooses to retire one day, that doesn't all go with her. So we'll work with you to make sure that your ancestors' information is updated and accurate. Absolutely. And we do want you to submit records for your family members. Please, please, please. If you have something we don't have, we do ask that you work with our staff to get that so that it can be uploaded on here.
All right. Brooke is asking, if you don't have a clan name or Anishinaabe name, is there a way to get those?
You can get your Anishinaabe name. How you get named is you find someone that you know, or someone that, you can reach out to the nation if you're not sure who to ask, and you gift, and it needs to be someone who already has their Potawatomi name. So you need someone to be a namer, you need to have been named. You offer them a gift of Sama, of tobacco, and you ask them to name you. Now, that person can accept the tobacco, and now you two have entered into an agreement, And it is on that, they can also choose to say, this isn't the right time for me, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And don't take it personally, because people, being asked to name someone is a big responsibility, and people just may not be in the best place in their life to take on that responsibility and that great honor. So don't get your feelings hurt if that's the case. They're doing it for reasons that are important to them. At that point, you and the namer sort of start working. They may ask you questions to get to know you a little bit better. Each namer sort of has their own process. The two of you work together to figure out a time for your naming ceremony. And then there is a naming ceremony. We do one every Sunday morning during festival. So it would be tomorrow if we were having in-person festival. We do naming ceremonies throughout the year. Some namers are very specific. They only like to name during certain seasons of the year. Others are less particular, and they work with, just sort of what your schedule is and what their schedule is. You, as the namee, the person being named, your responsibility after you've gifted the tobacco and asked to be named is to provide food after the naming ceremony. So it is your job to feed the people that you invite to have with you and the person who's naming you. So you put on the feast. Now the feast may be, you stopped at the grocery store and got some muffins and drinks, and you're all going to sit around on paper plates after the ceremony. That's up to you. That's up to you what the level of the feast is. You should also bring with you 2 sponsors. They're going to stand up beside you as you're named. And the sponsors, they don't have to be Potawatomi. They don't have to be named. They don't have to be any of these things. It's 2 people that you feel help keep you on the right path, and who will sort of speak up if they see you doing something they know you shouldn't be doing, or we refer to it as keeping you on the red road. So that's the naming process. If you don't know your clan, that is okay. Most Citizen Potawatomi people, we don't know our clan, and that is because the clan system, as it was the pre-contact clan system, has largely been broken for us. We were a patrilineal society, which meant we passed our clan from our father's line down through the father's line. And because most of the intermarriage with Europeans initially happened with Potawatomi women and European men, that true clan system, as it was very distinctly defined back then, became broken. Now, the modern clan system, that a lot of other tribes all over the country had to deal with this. This is part of colonization. There are families who know their clan. That is just, it has been passed down. They have been able to recognize their clan all the way through. And those people usually are born knowing their clan. But many of us do not. And that is okay. It is not something that makes you less Potawatomi if you don't know your clan. That is a result of colonization. And it is something that many communities across Turtle Island have had to deal with. So.
All right, we have someone who would like a re-explanation of the 2 circles above the chat circle.
Okay. Nathan, which do I need to go to? Dashboard to get the little question mark?
Yeah, dashboard or your profile will have it.
Okay. So Nathan, do you want to talk about the 2 buttons real quick?
Yeah. So whenever you first create an account on Mesodermic, you'll go through a questionnaire to fill out some of the information that maybe we don't have, just to confirm that you're the right person, so we connect the right information. And then when you first load up the dashboard, we have this walkthrough that you can opt into. And all that walkthrough is, it shows you, so say on this dashboard page, it would show you like, this is your photo, this is what the featured person block is, this is what the search is, kind of just explaining everything that Kelli has gone over. And so if you opt not to do that, but then later on you come back, it's been months, you haven't really been in it, you forgot how it works, you can click that question mark and that will bring that walkthrough back up for you. So it's kind of just a way to refresh your memory or learn for the first time how to use the dashboard. And currently it exists on the dashboard, on your profile, and it will be on the family tree page, but we haven't gotten to that part yet because we have some things to work out there still. And then the button below that is the bug report button. So if you come across something that isn't working or doesn't really seem right, like it's not working correctly, you click that. it has a button where you can email me and my team, just listing, you know, what page you're on, what the bug is, what you were doing to create it, so we can try and recreate it and get it fixed. And those emails will come directly to us, and we'll see those and work through them and contact you whenever we have them fixed.
And that could be anything. Like if you looked at your family tree and yesterday you looked at it and you were able to see your mother's photo, and today you just see a silhouette of, you know, the generic silhouette of a woman, just click that little bug, and it's usually just a coding issue on the back end, or maybe they're working on an update and something broke, you know. So little things like that up to big things, you may click a page and instead of going to the next page it says error or something, you know, like you get one of those will not connect or something. All of those things, you just click that little red wiggle button of with the bug on it, and it'll let Nathan and his team know there's something going on, and they will start a one-on-one chat with you so that, you know, they're specifically addressing your issue.
Great. We have someone too who was not able to add an alias. They didn't see a field for it when they clicked edit.
Is that Scarlett?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we got her bug report yesterday afternoon. We were working on that. So Scarlett, what's happening there is currently the aliases are being populated by information that we have in the database already, and there isn't a way to add an alias to that block. If you're adding your maiden name to when you edit your profile, we do have that information. I know in your email you had mentioned another family name that you wanted to add as an alias. So that will be possible. That is where it's going to go, is in that alias block. We got your bug report, so we've moved that feature up to the top. So it should be in our update next week.
Yeah, it's something I want to mention. As you're looking at Mesodermic's profile here, you'll see right here at the top where it says early access. So you guys aren't quite beta testers. We did have beta testers who were working on this back in late April, early May, but we're still in the early access phase. We have to stay in early access until we get quite a few members who are actually using this, because there are certain bugs that aren't popping up and certain issues that aren't arising until we get a lot of tribal members trying to use it, and there it's showing some of the weaknesses, I guess, or some of the areas where we need improvement. So we're hoping to be out of early access this summer, but there we are rolling out. I don't want to put Nathan and them on the spot, but if the past trend sticks, they're rolling out a new update with all kinds of fixes about once a week, maybe every other week. So if there's a feature or something on there that you wish you had a little bit more control over, send a bug report and they will let you know either if it's possible, if it's already something they're working on and will be in a new update, like Nathan was just saying with the aliases. So this is very much a system that we're building in-house. So you as a tribal member, if there's something that you have an idea about, shoot them a question and Nathan will either be able to tell you if it's possible or not, when they think that might be able to happen. So really think of this as a tool that can grow and develop as we, the citizens of the nation, put in requests about what kind of information we want available and how we want to use this system. So.
All right, we have a couple of family tree questions now. Someone said their father walked on and was wondering if they can put information about him. I believe that this was less than 25 years ago.
So what you can do is still offer the suggest a change, and we will have that information and have it loaded. And when he has, like I was saying, we have it set up in the system that basically every day it's pulling people in. If it has hit the anniversary of their 25 years walked on, it will then be to where people can search it and see it and add all of that. So yes, do add that. Now, Nathan, for her to be able to build out her father and be able to share it with her family members, is that still that suggests a change process?
No. So on your profile, Kelli, would you mind going to the Mesodermic profile really quickly? Okay, yeah. So the way that we have the family trees built out, like the profiles built out, is the ancestral profile is completely unique from a profile that you can create. So you'll see in the family module there, it says add a family member, and Kelly's pointed out, like we already have like a spouse, a parent, some children below. So whenever you add a family member, that is created and connected directly to your account. So unless you share your profile or your family tree with someone else, no one else can access that one. So you would say if we wanted to go to John J. Jeffrey's profile, we would click on him, go to his profile, and it would look the same as Mesodermic's profile here. Or you could do a quick edit there. We have the button to go to the profile disabled right now. There's a couple of bugs that things just really weren't working out, but we're hoping to have that back up before the end of the month. So next week, I guess, as well. But if you wanted to fill out more information on your parent or your child, you would do that. And ultimately, the goal is to have an option on there where if you want to share that information with the ancestral profile, that will submit a suggest a change trigger and send it to the curator or to Kelly or Zarina. They would go through it, check it, and make sure it's credible. And if it is, they'll add it to that profile. So after 25 years, information that you've added to your unique like father's profile will then transfer over to the ancestral profile as well.
And but in general, do not hesitate sharing information with the CHC. I did put Zarina Thompson's email in the chat, so the more information, the better. So we have a question about historical family trees that are already built. Someone's asking, are there any ones that are already built? That way, if I link to them via my profile as I build it, will it link even further back?
So that is the goal. Yes. I don't know that we've gotten that update out yet. But ideally, whenever you're building out your tree, there'll be an add a family member button, and you'll select like if this is a pre-existing person, where then you'll have like a similar list to the census search, where you can type in a name, find the match. There'll be a little preview to make sure that it's the correct person, since so many people have the same names. And then whenever you would add them, ideally it would link that pre-existing tree that we've built out to your tree, so that work has been done for you.
Yeah, that's a great, someone who's maybe a descendant of John Anderson, they may know back to John Anderson, but they may not have been aware of all those people that John Anderson. So yes, we are working on that. It's something that I don't understand programming, but the guys are explaining to me. It just takes a little bit more on the programming and on the back to make sure that those are being linked up accurately, and making, like Nathan said, making sure that when you open up and you may see an option of there's 3 John Andersons, and is it John C. Anderson? Is it John B. Anderson? Is it, making sure that you're linking up with the right family tree. So yes, that is absolutely the end goal of this, is you to be able to link your profile with the pre-existing ancestral profile and merge those two to save you a lot of the work.
All right, Angela's asking, in the census section, what order are the names listed? She says it doesn't appear to be alphabetical for instances or spelling variations when the search might not work unless you know the exact spelling.
It's not. It is listed by how they were listed on the census. So the Andersons, you might think that they are the Andersons because it started with A. They truly were the first ones on a certain one. So wait, is that
No,
Nathan, did y'all change that?
Yeah, they are listed by alphabetical order. It's
Okay.
just like in those first ones, they don't have a last name. We have the last name by default. So if you wanted to change what you're filtering by, like if you wanted to go alphabetically by first name, you would just click first name on the top bar.
Here?
Yep, right there. You click that, that would change it to do alphabetically. We are currently working on kind of expanding on our search to add like more dynamic filters. So if you wanted to search by specific last names and then alphabetically by first name, you could do that. But currently right now, it's just alphabetically by one or the other.
Yeah, so we do have, our archivist has been really harping that he wants to have it listed. He also wants to where you can list it, how they were actually in order on the actual census. So I couldn't remember if we'd actually made that change or not. But I remember it's not John Anderson, it was Stephen Nagonquit who was #1 on the 1872 census. That's where I was saying that, and I was like, wait a minute, no, it wasn't John Anderson, it was Stephen Nagonquit. Yes, but the reason these people, they like, because they don't have a last name, but we're sorting by last name here. But if we did first name, you'll see that it pulls up those individuals. So.
All right, great. So someone is also saying that when they're selecting a date on the calendar, the first option is the year. And they're saying it would be great if it was year, month, day. Right now, it just has arrows for the years. And it takes forever to click back to an older decade. So possible suggestion for the future?
Yeah, I think I see what they're talking about there, like where they're mentioning. Yeah, I'll write that down. We can take a look at that.
Great. And Gina's asking, so someone who was married more than once, is there a way to add the dates of a marriage?
Multiple marriages?
Multiple marriages.
It's not set up yet, but you can, if you create a life event or a life story event, you can add the date, add the marriage, and to whom. I believe in the last update, we added the ability to link members of the family tree, so you can link directly to their profile. How we're working on doing it is when you add a marriage event, it will add that person as a spouse as well. So we'll have the date assigned to that as well. And then in your family tree, if you have multiple spouses, it'll have multiple branches. So if you have a kid with husband A and then have 2 kids with husband B, it will just have 2 separate branches coming off and building out from there. But like I said, I'm not sure right now if we have that in place, but it is something we are working towards. But for the time being, you can add a marriage event and just add the date for whichever it is.
These are great suggestions and great questions. Thank you, everyone. We have one final question here. We're coming up on time. So Laura says, my mother is my CPN ancestor. I added my non-CPN father with his data, but it puts my mother's photo on his profile and it won't let me edit it. Can that be fixed?
That is a good example of a bug. That's not supposed to be doing that. So if Laura, if you'll push the bug button at the bottom and send us an email, we'll add that to our list and try and get that worked out. If you tried to upload a photo for him, include that in the email, not the photo, just that you try to do that. Because if you've uploaded it, we have it and we can make that switch ahead of time.
Great. Okay, awesome. Well, yes, we are coming up on time here. So are there any final comments from Kelly, Nathan, anything else?
No. I will stop sharing my screen.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Just as a reminder, this will be available to watch again on the Virtual Festival website. It's being recorded right now and will be there. So if you would like to rewatch this, feel free, go ahead. There's already one recording up of another session we did of it earlier in the week. So be sure to sign up for it though. Please keep participating in Virtual Festival through the weekend and early next week. So thank you all again for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and we hope to see you all next year back here in Shawnee in person. It will be great. Thank you all.
Mama P.
Mama Mina.